What is up, guys? I just did a new intro. Whatever. What up, guys? It's your boy Will Dickinson back with CBB Talk, and it was a good, crazy weekend. You know, the huge in college basketball, where you get crazy results, you get upsets, and that's the beauty of sport is it's not predictable. You never know what's going to happen. And really, the biggest game, the most unpredictable result was, Alabama getting blitzed by a team in Oklahoma that was not a tournament team or is not a tournament team this year. They lose by 23. They were down 17 and a half. And Grant Schofield put up a game with 30 points. Just a real good game from Oklahoma in Norman. Had home court advantage, and Alabama just couldn't get it going offensively. Didn't shoot terribly from three, but the offense was not great. Was getting out rebounded. Actually, they didn't really get out rebounded. But they just got outplayed, better shot making on Oklahoma's end. They were hitting a lot of threes today. And Brandon Miller only had 11 points. Griffin 15 on the bench and Quinterly 12. So their two highest scorers were off the bench. And that's going to be tough if you're an Alabama team where they rely a lot on the good stars. They do have depth, which is good, but your best player didn't perform well. That's going to hurt. Oklahoma gets a good win. They're probably not a tournament team this year, but the Big 12 is super deep. They can pick up a lot more wins. Alabama dropped a 4 in the AP poll, and they dropped a 4 in the personal poll. For the reason of, yes, they still have one of the best resumes in the country, but you do not get beat by 30 points or 25 points, whatever it was, and stay where you're at, in my opinion. And other teams got wins and good wins to go above them. And one of them was Tennessee. I said this was probably the best game of the weekend, and it wasn't the best game. It wasn't the best game, but we saw that Tennessee is a real good team, and they proved it there on Saturday. A great game from the Nkwamwa. I cannot pronounce his name. Anyways, 27 for him, 22 from Zagai Ziegler, double. His defense is so good. Really limited Tyrese Hunter and Marcus Carr. Sir Jabari Rice had 21 on the bench for Texas. Again, I think Texas is still a really good team. This is their fourth loss in the year. Tennessee moves up to number 3 in my poll, 2 in the AP poll. Good game from Tennessee. This team is really good. And them in Alabama, when they play in Knoxville, that will be a star-studded matchup. A great game, and they had game day there. It's a big game for Tennessee. They get the win. One of the best sports programs in the country. Tennessee gets the job done, and they move to number 3 in the poll. Texas, after that loss, moves to 8th, and they have a big game tonight on Big Monday against Baylor, which will be a star-studded matchup, and they need to get this one because they have a really tough schedule coming up in these next couple weeks. They need to get a win here. Dude, I'm sorry. Pissing me off. Not even the blinds. It's not even that bad. Like, sorry if my camera looks really bad. Can't really blame the camera. Anyways, another good game there in the SEC Big Ten Challenge. Big 12. God, dude, I cannot get that right. Anyways, was an upset performance there by Mississippi State, taking down TCU. TCU lost Mike Miles, which was tough. It sounds like it's not a season-ending injury, which is good. You never want to hear that. You don't want, you don't want to see one of the best players in the country go down with an injury. Luckily, it's not season-ending. He'll probably miss a couple games, and that's going to hurt TCU. You're missing your best player. They didn't have Eddie Lampkin. Goes in overtime. I'm guessing if they had Mike Miles or Eddie Lampkin, they can win that game. They don't end up winning it. Good win for Mississippi State, who has not been good in SEC play. Tough loss for TCU. I dropped them to 15th in my poll, and I'm actually not sure what they dropped to in the AP. I think they dropped to someone similar like that. Kansas State got a nice win over Florida in Keontae Johnson's first game back. And then the other big one was Kansas avoiding their 4th straight loss with a win at Kentucky. A great team performance from Kansas. Jalen Wilson was great. KJ Adams, always good. Grady Dick hadn't have an amazing game, but still good. And Kevin McCullough hit a big shot down the stretch to put this game away. He had a double-double, and you had 8 points from DeJuan Harris in that first half, which was huge. This Kansas team, they're good, but they're definitely beatable, and they've shown that in the last couple of games, and they finally get a nice one on the road. Jalen Wilson's just such a tough player, one of the best players in the country, and that's really who they go to on offense. K. Jams is taking that step, but he gets into foul trouble a lot, and Uday played good defense on Sheway, who only got 9 shot attempts now and had 18 points. Just struggle game from, guys like Savio Wheeler, who's kind of taking a step back from last year of being a starting guard on that team. Casey Wallace didn't have a bad game, but they just rely a lot on Jacob Toppin, who took the most shots in that one. Reeves was 0 for 3 from 3. Frederick 0 for 5 from 3. So Kentucky's taking a step back from behind the arc here. We'll see how Kentucky responds. I think they're still a tournament team, but they definitely got to start winning more games because you got a home game like that against a really good team. This is your chance to prove where you're at. You got the win against Tennessee, which is really was started to turn around the season. After I made a video, it was like, is Kentucky just out of it? And I made a Kentucky's back video. They end up losing in this one, keeping it close for a lot of the game, but Kansas pulls away, moving back to number 10 in my rankings, going up 5 spots. I think I kind of overreacted, I'll be honest. I think that was a little bit of an overreaction, which is fair, but I wouldn't sell my Kentucky stock all the way, but Kansas is still definitely a contender in the Big 12. Auburn, who I knew was overrated, they just got my honorable mentions. They lost the game to West Virginia. West Virginia, a bubble team, they can get more Big 12 wins. If they can get them, they'll probably be a tournament team this year. And it's not a big Auburn guy. I don't know how they're so ranked. They got the 25th ranking, which was super shocking to me. Creighton took down Xavier, which was a great win for Creighton, who's now on a 3-game in a row, I'm pretty sure. And Xavier, it's a tough game to go into. There are underdogs now, and Creighton plays a great first half. This Creighton team is really good. Since they've got back Ryan Kalkbrenner, they're playing like the 3rd best team in the nation. I can't remember what it is. I don't think it's KenPom, but it's whatever. They're playing the 3rd best team in the nation on one of the computer metrics. They're that good. Ryan Nembhard. Wait, is it Ryan Nembhard? Yeah, Ryan Nembhard. Yeah, he's playing really good. Baylor Shineman, Kalumu. The team is deep, and they're playing like that team you saw in Maui earlier this year. They're kind of getting back to that level, and they could definitely win the Big East. They won a 6-game losing streak, and they could still have a chance to win the Big East, which is just speaks highly of what Coach McDermott's done over there. Xavier, on the other hand, that's a tough loss. They didn't get a good game from Sule Boom. They didn't have a guy step up and have a big game. I still like Xavier, still one of the deepest teams in the country. I dropped them to number 11. Creighton, just too many losses to be ranked right now, but keep getting wins for Creighton. Creighton will definitely start to sneak up there and get in my conversation. I forgot one of the games in the Big 10, Big 12 SC Challenge was Iowa State losing. Iowa State didn't have Caleb Grill. They didn't have Kunch, which when you're missing 2 of your probably 6 best players, that's going to be tough to get a win in this one. Missouri's a good team. They're a tournament level team Missouri's definitely a tournament level team this year. They will probably make it. They're on pace to. And going into Missouri, Kobe Brown, good game, and they shot the leather off the ball, the skin off the ball. They shot the 3 really well in that one, and Iowa State really couldn't get any runs going. You're missing one of your best shooter and another great scorer off the bench in Cooch. You're gonna probably lose a game. That's a tough loss for Iowa State, but they already beat Kansas State earlier this week. I got them 9th in the rankings, just a bit ahead of Kansas. And we'll see what the remaining schedule of theirs is. through a couple more weeks left in the regular season. But I still like Iowa State a lot. Still think they're a good team. Would not sell them. Not worried too much after that loss at all. Virginia is another high riser on my rankings. I moved them up to number 8. Dominant performance against Boston College, which doesn't say a lot about their opponent, but you've seen Armin Franklin step up and be the best scorer on their team. Been way more efficient from 3, and it's just that's huge for them because they need more 3-point shooting. The only concern about them, as I've been saying, is they don't have a dominant big or a great big defender if they go against a team like UNC with a healthy Baycott or Flipkowski or a team in the tournament with great big that gives them problems because we saw poster Boston College at 24. PJ Hall may give them problems on Clemson, but I still like Virginia, best team in the ACC by a wide margin, in my opinion. They're actually those 3 ACC teams ranked. I have Clemson, I have UNC. I know they didn't play. They got 2 games this week, and that Duke game on Saturday is going to be huge. But UNC just playing good. They're in my rankings at 23 right now. Yeah, I like ACC's kind of weak this year, but Virginia definitely is the top of that conference. NC State got a nice road win at Wake Forest in the ACC. They're in my honorable mentions right now. They're one of the first teams out. I'm in Texas A&M, my first teams out, with Rutgers losing and Charleston losing over the weekend. 2 teams had to go in. That was New Mexico and Indiana. Indiana's playing really good basketball right now. Took down Ohio State over the weekend. Ohio State's just not a good team this year. New Mexico from the Mountain West. I have 3 Mountain West teams in Boise State at 22, San Diego State at 21, New Mexico at 24. It's going to be – there's a lot of competitive teams that can get in these rankings, and NC State's one of them for sure with a big second half. And that Burns, the big man, he may not look like it, but this dude can ball 31 for him for NC State, and they're 17-5 this year, looking to make the tournament. In a big year for Kevin Keatts. Got the shirt on. Yeah, it says Coach Keatts basketball camp. So I'm not an NC State fan, but they're having a great year over there in PNC in my city. Marquette, most underrated team in the nation. I'll keep saying it. Puts 56 in the second half against DePaul. Joplin, Kulik, Prosper, Jones. This team is so good. Shaka Smart's done an amazing job there. They're 7th in my poll. You may say that's overrated in my opinion, but look at their wins. All their losses are good losses, and they beat a Baylor team. They beat Xavier. They beat Providence. They lost in OT to Providence. So Marquette's a great team. Doesn't take away. I know they have 5 losses, but it doesn't take away that I think this team can beat any other team in the nation. And they're playing like it. And I think they're the best team in the Big East. Creighton's might be playing like it, but Marquette, I think they. If someone said Marquette's the best, I would agree with them. I think it's hard to argue against them. You saw that Houston had problems against Cincinnati. They ended up pulling it out down the stretch. And Jarris Walker, he is an NBA player. He's one of the best freshmen in the nation. He might be the second best freshman behind Brandon Miller. He's that good. And every time I watch him, he makes tough mid-range shots. And he's just one. He might be behind Zach. Him and Sasser are a great one-two punch that can take this team deep at the march because his emergence for this Houston team has been, really good and huge. Wisconsin's not a good team. People want Illinois to be ranked. They're not there, in my opinion, quite yet. Baylor hangs on against Arkansas. Arkansas almost got a huge road win, but they lose their 7th of the year. Again, Arkansas is a team that could miss the tournament if they don't get Nick Smith back. They could definitely miss the tournament. Keontae George is really taking that step. Him and Jarris Walker fighting for and Brandon Miller, 3 best freshmen in the nation, in my opinion. And it's not hard to buy in on this Baylor team. They're one of the best teams, playing like one of the best teams in the nation. I think they're on a 6-7 game win streak. They started off really slow, 0-3 in Big 12 play. They had a 3-game winning streak, and they're back to playing like the team we expect them to be, and it's led by their guards. If they are getting healthy, if Tama Tachuwa could come back, I wouldn't be surprised if the Baylor team wins the Big 12 this year. They still got a lot of games to play on the road this year. But we saw that they beat Kansas and beat Arkansas, 2 games at home. Great for Baylor, moving up number 12, and they got a huge road game tonight. If they win this game, I'm all in on Baylor. But I expect Texas to pull that one out, but we can talk about that later. Coach Rory said Charleston lost to Hofstra. Said that would have been a challenge. I knew Hofstra was one of the best in the CAA. Miami lost. I didn't have them ranked, but they were just out of it. Take a tough loss at Pitt. Both those teams could be tournament teams this year. Jeff Capel's doing a good job and a big year for him. We already talked about TCU losing to Mississippi State. Just injuries. FAU now is the longest win streak in the nation. They're 21-1. Got them at 18 in my rankings. Best mid-major team right now, I would say, is FAU, because I wouldn't count St. Mary's as mid-major. They're a lot of the time a nice tournament team. We got Arizona taking care of business. Arizona up to 5 in the poll. They're 5 in mine, so I agree with them on that. Keep going through these games, seeing if there's any notable results really happening. Sorry for this. Indiana's playing really good. They're playing like one of the best teams in the nation. They're actually 21 in the poll. I have them at 25. But yeah, shout out to Trace Jackson Davis, and big game from Hochefino in that one. Texas A&M also had big hopes coming in this year, playing like it there. Yeah, I remember I just talked about St. Mary's. They got scared against BYU. We need a big game at the end by Mahali. Well, I don't know if you pronounce his game. Hits a big shot, pretty much a buzzer beater, to go ahead to win this game. Tough for BYU in their last years in the WCC. Yes, the St. Mary's team, it could be the best team in the WCC. Gotta wait for that Gonzaga matchup, because those two teams are the best. But they have a chance of winning this outright this year, which would be huge. Penn State, Michigan's as bad this year. Won't be a tournament team unless they do a complete 180. But I do not see that happening. And while you have Penn State on the other hand, who's looking to be a tournament team, Jalen Pickett is so good, almost a triple-double in this one. And Penn State 14-7, trying to make a tournament this year for the first time in a while. We had Justin Moore back. It was great to see him back on the floor, coming off a torn Achilles. But couldn't get the win there for Villanova. Came in the shreds. Providence, also at the top of that Big East. I got Providence at 19th in my poll. They're a really good team over there. Zach Edey's like overpowered. He's going to win National Player of the Year unless he gets injured, which we don't want to happen. He's a dominant force. They were unanimous #1 team, and it's because of him. Of course, Michigan State doesn't have a great big to match up with them, and that's their second loss in like the last 2 weeks of them. So but if he gets the ball in the post, he goes right up. If you double him, he can pass over defenders to players to make plays, but he's such a dominant force when he gets that ball in his left hand. And there's no one better than him. His emergence has gave Purdue the #1 team in the nation. And they'll be that. Even if they lose, they could still be that number. It depends who they play. One loss of the year for Purdue, and they're looking like the team to beat right now. Rutgers took a loss at Iowa. I was mad because I was watching the NFL, the championship games, and I'm looking at this Rutgers game like, come on, Rutgers, I don't want to change my top 25, and they lose. I was like, I got to freaking change my top 25. So I actually put Indiana in, and Rutgers is out after that one. And Memphis got a win to finish out the day. And Memphis, you're just out. You're one of my top 4 teams out. I'll just say that. Playing good tournament team. Kendrick Davis has been really good for them after leaving SMU. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll look at the games from Monday and Tuesday. Back to look at, the games on Monday and Tuesday. Monday is a slower day. We got 2 good Big 12 games and 1 ACC game at 7 o'clock. My Virginia Cavaliers were traveling to the Carrier Dome to play Syracuse. Is it not called Carrier Dome anymore? It's called the JMA Wireless Dome. It's the Carrier Dome. It will always be the Carrier Dome. This is a game that Virginia could definitely lose. I'm not gonna be like, I'm not shaking my boots for this game, but it's definitely a losable game for Virginia. Sure, win this one, take care of business, get a little break. until Saturday. And the two Big 12 games is the last one is Iowa State at Texas Tech. Texas Tech still looking there for the first Big 12 win after coming on against the win against LSU. I expect that Iowa State to do this. Hopefully they can get back healthy. I'm not sure who will be playing in that one. And for Baylor, going against Texas Tech, against Texas, that'll be a tough one. Texas coming off a loss. Baylor's been hot. I expect Texas to win this game. They haven't lost 2 in a row all year. I know Baylor's playing like the better team at the moment, but I think Texas will get this done at home, which is a big advantage in the Big 12. It's hard to win road games in the Big 12, but Baylor's done it this year. Tuesday's a better day. Going through Clemson has to go to Boston College. That should be a win there. Texas Tech, Arkansas. That's the two teams not on the bubble, but definitely not confirmed tournament teams. Texas Tech can get a road win at Arkansas. That definitely has a good chance of putting you in that top 25 for me. Miami's got to try to get another win against Vol Tech. Duke plays Wake Forest. That's not a guaranteed win. Should be one in Cameron. But the best game on Tuesday, God, it's an ESPN Plus game, which that's annoying. But Kansas State at Kansas is a rematch from 2 weeks ago where Kansas lost at Kansas State. Can Kansas return the favor and get a home win, or can Kansas State pull off a season sweep against Kansas? I don't see Kansas losing this one, but that's a really good one. 7 versus 8 in the poll. I believe it is a 6 versus 10 in mine. So really good game. That's going to be probably the best one for this Tuesday slate of games. West Virginia at TCU is the other one. We'll see if Mike Miles will probably not play in that one. And West Virginia could get a huge road win because they're a bubble team right now. Win here, that's a quality win. That'd be very good. And then, that's about it. Northwestern Iowa is a decent one. Northwestern looking like a tournament team this year. Iowa not looking like a tournament team this year. So can they play a little spoiler? And Indiana at Maryland. That's going to be going. Maryland's actually opened up as a favorite in that one. So yeah, kind of Tuesday's good. A little slower Monday. Good Texas Baylor game though. That'll be a really good one. Big Monday. But besides that, that's it. Thanks for watching. College basketball seems to never disappoint on these great weekends. Thanks for watching. Peace out.